Coming up on College Press Box, Texas football falls in Fort Worth. Volleyball seeks another conference title, and Horns basketball gearing up for the season. All this and more next.
Our guys are excited about playing a real game. We've played a bunch of scrimmages, exhibition games. Those have been good, but it's time to get started.
Time is ticking on, guaranteed opportunities to play this game this season.
And welcome into College Press Box. I'm Luke Hendry. Texas football coming off another Big 12 loss on Saturday. And here we go. We're at Amon G. Carter Stadium. TCU looking to make it 4 straight victories over Texas. First possession, Kyle Hicks with the 1-yard touchdown. 7-0 Frogs early. Later in the second, why not go back to him? Kyle Hicks, this time with the 14-yard scamper, 17-0 TCU. Texas wouldn't go away in this one. Shane Buechele making a play downfield, finding little Jordan Humphrey. 37-yard pass completion would set this one up a few plays later. Why not go to your number one man? Colin Johnson making a play in the end zone, 17-7 at half, but TCU simply too good in this one. Darius Anderson with the 31-yard touchdown. Horned Frogs go on to win it 24-7 in Fort Worth. Texas is now 4-5 on the season and 3-3 in Big 12 play. Saturday was simply more of what Texas fans have seen all season long. Strong defensive stops followed by stagnant offensive drives. Our very own Steve Helwick and Ross Lubinsky were at Amon G. Carter Stadium and report on the Longhorn hopes of bowl eligibility.
For the 4th straight season, the TCU Horned Frogs dismantled the Texas Longhorns offense. Texas has not scored over 10 points against TCU since the 2013 season, and that trend continued tonight in Fort Worth.
Yeah, when you're playing a team that's that caliber, you got to get the ball back. It felt like our offense was playing on a long field for a lot of the night. We got a couple decent field positions, but we were backed up a little bit, and usually, when you do get turnovers, it results in good field position.
TCU jumped out to a 17-0 lead, and Texas quickly responded with a Colin Johnson touchdown and had several opportunities to score before the end of the first half. But once the second half came, the offense was put to sleep for the remainder of the game.
We just have to get a lot better putting together drives. Stop shooting ourselves in the foot with a penalty here or a bad throw here. Just put together drives just to try to help our defense out.
Of course, it always starts up front. Keep those guys motivated. It's hard sometimes, especially at quarterback too, when you're getting frustrated, getting sacked, and can't get the ball off, and receivers can't get the ball. We can't get your run game going. It's hard. That's anything with a team aspect and a team mindset. You can never give up on each other.
With bowl eligibility still in question for the Longhorns, Texas will have to face Kansas next week in Austin, which will be a revenge game as Kansas upset Texas and Lawrence last season.
These seniors deserve to go to a bowl game, and that's big picture. We've got to worry about Kansas this week, but we understand that that'll put us one step closer to that big picture goal.
From Amon G. Carter Stadium in Fort Worth, I'm Steve Helwick, College Press Box.
A special thanks to Steve and Ross for that report as I bring in our Texas football analyst, Matthew Truty. Matthew, strong defense followed by stagnant offensive drives. It's been the story of Tom Herman's first season here at Texas. Where does the improvement need to start for this offense to get back to a normal Texas football program?
Well, I think first and foremost, you have to start with the offensive line. They've gone through a number of injuries this year. Notably, Connor Williams out with a knee injury. He's been out a couple of weeks, so they've really lacked some stability there. You saw the rotation they sent out against TCU. Left tackle, you had from left tackle to right tackle, Tristan Nicholson, Patrick Vahe, Terrell Cooney, Jake McMillan, and then Derek Kerstetter, true freshman. So you're sending out some young players out there, a lot of different rotations working with the offensive line. And then they go out against TCU and give up 7 sacks. That's the most they gave up all year long. They really struggle on that side of the ball, protecting the quarterback. They actually lead. They're at the very bottom of the Big 12 in sacks given up. So that's a huge problem for Texas, and being able to protect Shane Buechele and also open up those running lanes. TCU only 9 rushing yards, so I think that's a huge concern for them to address in the near future.
I think you're right there. It's clear that the offensive line, the injuries have hindered Texas's ability to run. And then even in the passing game, it looked like Shane Buechele was scrambling every single play. Gary Patterson wasn't even bringing a rush package. It was a lot of times just a 3 or 4 man rush causing disruption.
Yeah.
Tom Herman did address the media earlier today, and he says the program has to find a way to get it done in the big games.
You know, we need to find ways to win those games against top 10 opponents, but they're ranked in the top 10 for a reason too. And it's really hard to win. It's really hard to win on the road, but we got to find ways to do it.
Herman took the head coaching job in January, and expectations for this program soared. Everybody saw the #Revolution campaign and all the hype of a new staff. We're 9 games into this season, 4-5. Texas looking at another sub-500 season. But, Matthew, I want to turn to you. How would you assess Tom Herman's first season thus far?
Well, when you're at a program like Texas, you want instant results. You know, a lot of times that's what fans want, that's what coaches want, the players want. But Texas really hasn't had that so far. Obviously, the start they've had, 4-5. You look back at what he was able to do at Houston and back in Ohio State, a lot of what they did, you know, he was actually able to get, you know, pretty instant results. You know, Ohio State was already built up with Urban Meyer, and then Houston, he came in immediately 13-1 and was able to really get things going on the offensive side. We always talk about Texas's defense. Offensively, they've really struggled, and I think that's something that's super important for Tom Herman and the staff to address in the future, is to kind of have an offensive identity. You know, they've tried to really run the football, and they haven't had a bell cow running back like at Ohio State with Ezekiel Elliott, or even in Houston where they had a combination of Greg Ward and backups and running backs like Kenneth Farrow. So I think it's really important for them to get an identity on offense and running the football, and they just haven't been able to quite do that yet. But that's, I think, extremely important. Once they get the offensive line back together, a little bit of continuity, get a little bit of stability, calm things down, and then, you know, start to go, I think with the running game is what he wants to go forward, to get a little bit of just control over this offense and go in the right direction.
It has been easy for Texas fans to get eager and want those early results when a new coach comes in to Austin. Tom Herman does need to create a little bit of identity on the offensive side of the ball, but he did that as an OC at Ohio State, and even as a head coach in Houston. Certainly something he knows how to do at programs. Now Texas will face Kansas this Saturday in Austin and wraps up the season with Big 12 matchups against West Virginia and Morgantown, and then finishes out the 2017 season against Texas Tech here on day following Thanksgiving. Matthew, you got to assess this program, and whether they finish 7-5, 6-6, or 5-7, there's a lot to look back at on this season. But looking ahead to Kansas, West Virginia, and Texas Tech, where does the season break for the Longhorns?
Well, obviously, the next game at home against Kansas is a redemption game for Texas, trying to, you know, I think Kansas at the very bottom of the Big 12, you know, they're not really doing too well right now. I think Texas has a great chance, obviously, just that to be a confidence booster for them heading on into the road game against West Virginia, their final road game of the year. And West Virginia has really been able to compete with ranked teams. Their biggest loss was an 11-point loss against Oklahoma State, and Texas was able to, you know, only lose by 3 against Oklahoma State. West Virginia and Texas Tech, and then Texas Tech the final game of the season. Both West Virginia and Texas Tech, top 20 offenses in the FBS. So Texas has really shown in Oklahoma State 2 top 5 offenses in terms of scoring per game in the FBS. So Texas has really been able to hold those teams in terms of getting points on them and really, you know, keep the game pretty close. So I think they can do that again, both against West Virginia and Texas Tech. And then the home game for Texas Tech. I mean, West Virginia is a tough one. You know, they've really been good against ranked teams, so that a lot of people may think that they may lose that. I think that's kind of a toss-up. I think they'll beat Kansas. And then against Texas Tech at home, I think it's going to be tough for them to lose that game all season long. Just been working up to that moment. I think they can get that win at home in the final game.
Bowl eligibility certainly on the top of the list for Tom Herman and the Longhorn program. As always, Matthew, thanks so much for coming in tonight. And when College Press Box returns, we'll highlight some of the other UT sports in action over the weekend. And the 6th-ranked Texas volleyball team eyeing a 10th regular season conference title. All that and more next. Welcome back into College Press Box. Luke Hendry joined now by Katarina Biancardi. Kat, Texas 4-5 on the season. How would you assess Tom Herman's debut so far?
Well, Tom Herman learned early, Luke, that this was not going to be easy in his loss to Maryland at the beginning of the season. But thus far, going into later this season, we've realized that Tom Herman needs time. He needs time to sharpen his freshman quarterback, Sam Ehlinger. He needs time to teach these guys that they can't give away easy penalties. And we hate to hear that answer as Texas fans do. But you know what? That is what he needs, is time. And I really am hoping that with 3 games left, a big game, a hopeful win against Kansas this weekend, and traveling on the road against West Virginia, that would be a signature win for Tom Herman. And then against Tech, that he can pull out 2 more W's in order to be bowl eligible.
Texas certainly hoping that Kansas will ease some of that pain from Fort Worth this last weekend when they come to Austin on Saturday. Now, the 11th ranked women's golf team posted a 3rd place finish at the Battle at the Beach in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico this weekend. Senior Sophia Schubert recorded a 3rd straight top 10 finish, leading the Horns with rounds of 70, 68, and 71. The Horns will return to action in February.
Moving things to the tennis court, Texas men's tennis concluded their fall campaign with a bang. Juniors Rodrigo Banzer and Leonardo Teles took runner-up honors in the doubles final on Sunday at the inaugural ITA National Fall Championships. The Texas duo fell in straight sets to Wake Forest, and while the 8-seeded Horns held serve in the match's first game, the Demon Deacons took the next 5 games for a 5-1 first set lead. As for now, the Horns will spend the rest of their fall preparing for the regular season in January.
Women's tennis was also in action over the weekend at the ITA National Fall Championships. Texas sophomore Bianca Truty saw an impressive run to the semifinals in Saturday as she fell to Duke's Samantha Harris. Truty completes a tremendous fall season at 10-1 with wins over nation's top 2 players. Texas will begin its spring season at the UNLV Invite in January.
Now, taking talk to the pool, both men's and women's swimming and diving traveled to College Station to face longtime rivals Texas A&M. Starting off with the men's side, Eddie Reese's reigning national championship squad fell to the Aggies in a dual meet. And now, while the men's team faced difficulty, the women's team rallied from behind in the final event, the freestyle relay, to knock off those Aggies. The Horns traveled to Raleigh this weekend to take on NC State.
Texas women's basketball hosted an exhibition game on Sunday against Oklahoma City University. Longhorns went on a 30-0 run in the second half en route to a 90-36 victory. The program was recently preseason ranked number 2 in the country. Karen Aston and the Longhorns will begin their season against Stetson on November 12th.
Now, number 3 ranked Texas volleyball defeated Texas Tech this Saturday in 4 sets. And besides remaining undefeated in Big 12 Conference, senior Chiaka Obagu became the all-time career block assist at Texas. Her 8 blocks assists gave her 460 for her career to pass recent Texas Tech's Molly McCage. The Horns will take on TCU this Wednesday at home.
The 14th ranked Texas soccer team fell to Baylor last Wednesday in the Big 12 quarterfinals. Texas junior Katie Glynn's goal in the 72nd minute was not enough for the Longhorns as Baylor rallied with a goal in the 88th minute to send the game into overtime. Baylor junior Julie James clinched the victory for the Bears and sent Texas packing after a much improved season. I want to turn to you, Kat. Despite starting off so great, I mean 10-0,
10-0,
unbeaten, what have the last few weeks shown or exposed about this Angela Kelly program as we enter postseason?
Well, it certainly was not the expectation for the Horns to lose by any means, Luke, but I think it was really good for this Texas team. Losing to Baylor has created Texas to be able to prepare for the postseason very well. You know, Texas has really shown that they have had a breakout season. They're posting 13-3 and a 2 record. That's so impressive compared to years past. And Angela Kelly's squad has shown that they have the endurance to compete. Competing in the Big 12 is not easy, Luke. You have teams like West Virginia, Oklahoma State, who all have also made it to the NCAA tournament, which is some of the good news that you have to share, right?
Yeah, Kat, actually earlier today, it was announced that the Texas soccer program will compete in the NCAA tournament. The Longhorns host North Texas right here in Austin on Friday. It's time for a short break here on College Press Box. When we come back, Ariea Bastami Sean Mapes get you all caught up in college football around the nation. Stay tuned. Hi, we start Unhooked tonight with me, Sean Mapes. With me, Ariea Bastami, rocking the flannel.
That's right. Fall-time calls for flannel and football, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. We're going to run through some college football highlights, starting with Penn State at Michigan State. Let's get it started. Here we are in Michigan. You got them warming up. There's some inclement weather on the horizon, but starting off, here's Trace McSorley, finds his receiver, get it to the sideline, makes a couple guys miss.
Too easy.
Into the touchdown.
Too easy, and Steve Helwick is a happy man.
He is, and now, rain delay. They took a break. We take a break. Let's go to Oklahoma.
That's right. So here we are in Oklahoma, and Baker Mayfield said it's too easy. It's Mustache Baker season. He usually does this for Bedlam, and whoop, right into the end zone,
Like that,
ladies and gentlemen.
little throwback special to number 24, Rodney
right.
Anderson.
Now we go back again. It's honestly, I'm going to have to say this right now, it's the mustache. He's going all the way from the 10 and goes right into the end zone. The scoring onslaught continues in Bedlam. Now we go back. Oklahoma State says, not today. We need to respond, and they do to the end zone. Cowboys fans and faithful are happy.
Not a lot of defense to this one, Ari, huh?
Very true. No defensive highlights, as you will see.
No, we're not getting a good one.
No, sir. No, sir. And through the middle, ice in his veins. He said, not today. I'm sorry, everyone in Stillwater, Oklahoma, but Norman gets the W.
Yeah, normally it's called Bedlam. This one's called Bellum because they didn't play any D. Now we're in now we're in Iowa. Kinnick Stadium's always hard to play. JT Barrett starts it off with a pick six. That's not what you want to do, folks.
Not really when you're a Heisman contender, so not at all. And Buckeye faithful is depressed.
Not liking it, but here they go. Here's the response right there. JT Barrett finds his man wide open, tie the game back up. Now a little trick play action here.
Oh,
Throwing it to the
swinging gate.
long snapper.
That's why he couldn't get the touchdown. He's a long snapper. What do you expect?
And now some big boy football.
That's
slings
right.
it in there for a touchdown.
That's that Hawkeye football.
They 17-38, 55-17 win. Now we're back to Michigan State. Here it is, dive and catch. Like that, Aria?
Some people die for it, and he's one of them.
Moving on. Now, got another
spin
completion.
move, actually.
Yeah.
Oh,
Takes
that's
it out to the
nasty.
50. That's going to help him in this tied game that we have. Now, responding.
No.
Did he catch that? He caught that. 4th and 3, trying to push it. Incomplete. That sets up Michigan State for the game-winning
D'Angelo
field
Russell.
goal right
Ice
there.
in his veins.
Slide it on in there with the W. And so now we move on from college football to the NFL.
It was an amazing weekend, you know, in the NFL. A really peaceful one, if you ask me.
A lot of good football. A lot of good football.
A lot of good fighting, I'd say. And let's roll the highlights to see what was in the NFL. So we started off here. Cincinnati is in Jacksonville. Just a 1-yard play. Nothing really going on. AJ Green said, Aria, sorry about your fantasy team. I'm about to do this. Takes him to the ground like it's WWE. Couple slams to the face. Why are you doing that with your glove? You don't have any protection, and that's a helmet.
Yeah, you know, hard plastic's hard to hit against, Ari, and a lot
Very
of people
true.
don't know that.
Very true. Very true. AJ
Now
Green.
we go to, here's Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's going to throw an incomplete pass. Look at this, you know, just everyday football stuff. Jameis Winston on the sideline, instigating. And here comes Mike Evans. Boom. Here comes the boom. Shout out to Nelly. That's going to start a fight. You think a lot of suspension is going to happen this weekend, huh?
You know, not AJ Green, I will say that. But to San Francisco we go. He's running. And it's a normal play, really. And then, you know, a little bit of some collision right there. And then this is where Carlos Hyde proceeds to take on the entire Arizona Cardinals defense.
There he is in the middle. Gets put on his rear
Couple
by
flags
Frosty
thrown up
Rucker.
in the air. Flags, here we go. And, oh, there's a hat. So, ladies and gentlemen.
They're throwing everything.
They're throwing everything on that field. Now, you know, there's been a lot of good plays in the association for the NBA, but
That's right.
we're not going to cover any of them.
Nope.
Instead, we're going to talk about a topic a little bit more controversial for a brand that isn't known for that much controversy, and that's Nike. Just a terrible mistake here we go. Starting off with number 5, Kevin Love. I mean, this one doesn't really even look that bad.
Yeah, he gets a little rip on the 0 right there as he puts it over his head.
Can't even tell. Now here we go. Number 4,
Preseason.
preseason. It's like, okay, Nike can still pick it up. Tyler Ennis, it's like, listen, buddy, we know you came from Q's. You're a good guy. You're a good player, but not for the Lake Show, not right now. And the O's off.
No O.
No O. He's laughing about it. He's like,
Yeah.
guys, I don't know what to do. I don't know why Nike's doing this. This didn't happen in college. This didn't happen in the NFL.
No, they get in a lot of fights.
Yeah, I know.
And so he rips off his jersey. Now we go to Golden State.
Here
You've
we
probably
go.
seen this clip.
Here we
Bradley
go.
Beal, Draymond Green having a civil conflict right there.
To the ground.
And you see his jersey's a little ripped.
Walking
This one's
off.
number 3 because he got in a fight and still on there. Pretty good for Nike.
Very true. Very true. Going through a fight, survived it. Mean mugging Bradley Beal. Classic Draymond Green. Now here we go to LeBron. And I mean, this one is kind of, it's interesting to say because he's split. He's like, do I pick number 2? Do I pick number 3? I mean, am I going to be retired in Cleveland as 23? I don't know. And to number 1 we go.
Here's Ben Simmons. They're just, regular play. Lance Stevenson bodying him up. And whoa, entire thing rips apart.
Just disintegrated.
Just can't play with that. And that's
Not
it
at
for
all.
that's not at all. That's it for Unhooked tonight. We'll be back next week with more cool stuff. Let's kick it back to Luke Hendry.
Welcome back into College Press Box. We are just days away from the start of the 2017-2018 men's basketball season. Shaka Smart and the Longhorns are coming off the worst season Texas basketball over the last 3 decades. The return of Andrew Jones and Kerwin Roach, along with the addition of some key freshmen, Mo Bamba, Matt Coleman, and Jericho Sims. Seems promising for the Texas program. Shaka Smart addressed the press earlier today and likes the progress of the team, but he also knows the difference between fall practice and the full speed of the regular season.
In terms of where we are, Friday will give us a great indication because, again, what I'm focused on now is the game. Do we do these things in the game that we talk about? How is our culture in the game? Do we compete forever? Do we understand that we're better together? All the different principles that go into our culture, do those things show in the game?
Another year for Shaka Smart to develop some young, talented players. Texas will face Northwestern State on Friday at the Irwin Center. Now, before we go, let's take a look at what other Texas sports are underway this week. On Thursday, women's volleyball taking on TCU, looking to remain unbeaten in Big 12 play. A game can be caught on LHN. Friday, swimming and diving at the NC State for a swim meet there. Cross country and track field are going to be at the NCAA South Central Regional Championships, all on Friday. We turn to Saturday. Swimming and diving continue in North Carolina, and then Kansas comes to town. DKR hosting the Jayhawks 5 p.m. on LHN, looking to bounce back after the loss against TCU. Sunday, women's basketball begins their 2017-2018 season against Stetson, also on LHN. That is all we're going to have for you tonight. And once again, thanks so much for joining us. Follow TSTV Sports on social media throughout the year for your latest Longhorn sports coverage. And join us right here every Monday for College Press Box. Also, for some hot takes, College Crossfire with Mark Skoll Jr. airs Wednesdays at 9. From all of us here in studio and Master Control, a special thanks to you for spending your Monday night with us. Until next time, I'm Luke Hendry. Good night.